Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time On Target Morning Brief, coming at you live this morning from Anaheim, California. Lovely 6:15 in the morning out here. Again, on the road, so just displays are a little bit different than you normally see. But today we're going to be talking about why is the market selling off so hard this morning? Because it is selling off pretty good. Let me make sure this is recording since I don't have the same display. It is good. So why is the market selling off, and what's going to happen? Is it going to continue? And honestly, I do think it does. I think we're set up for a pretty ugly day in the market today, and maybe even an ugly week. We kind of started hinting at it last week, and I'll show you that in the 5-day chart. Started kind of selling off there towards the end of the week. So that's what I think is in store, and it's reversion to the mean. It's time to move a few things around in the portfolio. I've been going to safety for a few months now, and that had been a little early. But I'm very comfortable with where the portfolios are positioned. And of course, we're not going to change anything with our workhorses out there. Our Apples, Amazons, Home Depot, Google, Blackstone, BlackRock, those are going to stay in the stable. But certainly we can take a look at some smaller names out there and kind of see how's this sell-off going to affect things, and do we want to add or just subtract from those positions? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, for our question of the day, we're going to talk about what sort of capital gains you have to pay on when you sell a house. Obviously, house prices have gone insane. So a lot of folks are selling houses and are at least asking the question, hey, if I sell my house, exactly what am I going to owe on this thing? Do I want to sell it if I'm going to end up having to pay a bunch of taxes? Well, we're going to talk about the specific rules that are in there. And of course, it's different whether it's your primary home or whether it's now a rental property. All those rules change. It's very favorable. If it's your primary home, you probably don't owe taxes on it unless you've made a ton of money. But if you turn into a rental property, you probably are going to owe taxes on almost every dime you make at that point, because it is now a business asset. All right, so our longs and shorts of the day, you can see in the chat, don't really have much long other than just the VIX, right? I think the market continues down today. It's already 500 points down on the Dow, well over 1%. NASDAQ's on the way to 1%. So I think your trade now is long. If you're not a mark-to-market trader, though, if you haven't traded VXX in a while, you make sure it's been 30 days. So check your trading log before you do it. But if you can take the VIX and go long here, I think you're going to be rewarded this morning. On the short side, we have a couple names that are kind of uncommon, but both are in play. Is Wish, WISS, that's Context Logic, and Verb Technology, VERB, that are both selling off pretty hard out there. So that's what I've got for you today. If you're checking us out on the replay, make sure you subscribe, click the notifications bell. Up to 205 subscribers now, so that's pretty good, picking up literally one a day. I like that. And then if you want to go catch us live, what you don't see is a chat window and a Q&A window where people can interact with me and ask me whatever you want, and I can answer you real time, all for only 25 bucks a month. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome back. Here's our lineup card for the day. Make sure you have your call sign and set up correctly, and both your chat and your Q&A window. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclosure information is available at ototnow.com. All right, Monday, July 19th. We're looking to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Today is kind of talking about protecting our money, right? And what do you do when the market sells off? Like I said, I think it's going to sell off today. I think it continues throughout this week. We are way overdue for a market sell-off. These things happen. It is no big deal. It is not time to change your strategy. You might adjust your tactics, but it's not going to change the strategy. The strategy largely remains in place, and you simply maneuver tactically through whatever the market gives you as far as different scenarios. Our question of the day, we already talked about capital gains. How would you on a house sale? I'll cover that after we get through the market open. Our flow is going to be long, short, open, short, long. We'll do a market review, headline review, and then look at both the SPY and the VXX. The VXX is down so low that if you want to trade it, again, it's a trading vehicle. It's not a long-term buy and hold because of several reasons. But if you want to trade the volatility, certainly if we have a sell-off, the VIX is going to scream higher. But then again, every time this VIX tries to scream higher, it can't because the market turns around and goes back and hits new highs. So just know what you're in for. We'll take a look. We'll execute the short-term trades. Contingencies and academic resources are standard. All right, let's share out the TD Ameritrade Think Pipes platform, which is right here. And we'll take a look at there we go. We'll take a look at this is the 9-month S&P 500 chart. So you really got to look all the way up to the upper right. Hopefully my face isn't covering it there on the video, but really just a few down days, right? The last 4 days have red candlesticks. That means that the market finished lower than it started at the beginning of the day. So again, that kind of selling throughout the day sort of thing. But when you really look at the big picture though, I mean, even if we sell off another percent today or so, we're still only going back to, where we were like a month ago. I mean, that is literally, you're looking at a straight line up, right? So, sure, I think we'll probably do some reversion to the mean selling, but nothing that I'm worried about at all, to be honest. Okay, here's the 5-day chart of the SPY, which looks a little bit uglier, right? So you have these past 4 days, or the blue areas, kind of even. Tuesday, even Wednesday, a little bit of selling Thursday, kind of heavy selling Friday. And then here we are Monday morning, Manic Monday, with the market down over 500 points in the Dow. All right, for our charts for sitting up for the short term, you can see here's the 1-minute chart on the SPY going down over here of the VXX. So it'll be long on the left panel and then a short on the right panel. I have Wish in there now, but be ready to switch over to Verb depending on what we decide to go with. All right, let's share out CNBC.com and take a look at these ugly futures that I keep talking about. All right, refresh these for you. All right, there we are. Basically a percent across the board, almost a percent there in the NASDAQ. So pretty heavy selling for what we have seen recently. And again, we're in the middle of earnings. Earnings have been great. So really there's no reason for this sell-off. A lot of the bank earnings have been great and the stocks have sold off. So again, this is just when stocks run up so far so fast, then they do have to take a breather, and this is good and it's healthy, and don't you worry about it. All right. EU selling off hard, 2% across the board. Again, COVID fears resurfacing. So Europe getting hard. Obviously, that's bleeding over into the U.S. markets. Asia in the red across the board. Couple of them pretty heavy. China not so much. In the bond market, rates continue to go down 1.21. I mean, that's ridiculously low, kind of crazy. Hitting new 5-month low there in rates. All right, as far as oil, been selling off. Remember, it's hanging out at 75. Some people were think that's going to go long this, or just increase, just continue to go up this summer. I don't think that's the case. I think it actually resets back in that 40 to 60 range. And again, there's a big OPEC announcement that is helping oil sell off, if you will. Gold and silver, I would expect to see those both spike a little bit today. Inflation fears as well as the market selling off. A lot of people move their money over into gold and silver. And then crypto, don't really even follow it too much anymore, selling off, 3 to 5%. I see people crying about it on Twitter. It makes me just kind of chuckle. Bitcoin millionaires. All right, let's look at the headlines out there. Analyst calls today. Again, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Microsoft, those are all longs. You know that. Nobody's going to try to say anything against them. So here's what could happen. 10 to 20% correction head, get defensive and buy staples. I don't really take my money and put it into staples. Staples in this case being, Procter & Gamble, toothpaste companies, toilet paper, that sort of thing. We tend to ride through with our big tech names. But you can get defensive with some VXX. You can get gold or silver, PPTY, some real property stuff that I use out there, or you can sell a little bit and just be sitting in cash. I do have some cash on the books right now. If you're wondering why that's in your portfolio, it's for stuff like this. So expect me to put that to work during this dip. We shall see. Alcoa would be one of those names I would never touch just because it's too capital intensive. But certainly, if you're going to play the aluminum commodity and you think it's screaming higher, then it would be the best way to play that. All right, had not seen the cyber attack story, but you know, cyber, CIBR, is one of the major investment themes I have out there. Been loading on that for some time. I do think Ackerman's right in the fact that it is a massive economic boom. So it's not going to be COVID that brings this market down. I think we're done with that. Check, filled that square. What's going to bring the market down is going to be if it comes down, will be the tax reform that's coming out, and we just don't know what that looks like yet. All right, Bezos into space. If you're not first, you're last. But anyhow, I guess he's going to go on up. There's an argument whether they really are going into space or just quasi space anyway, which is kind of funny. More of a technical thing than anything else, but I give them credit. I think they went to space. I think Branson went to space. All right, Robinhood IPO coming up. Not going to touch it. I think it's going to flop. The hatred in the name from how they dealt with things during COVID is huge. Plus, they got fined $170 million, and then now they're asking everybody for money. Good luck. Good luck, buddies. All right. Zoom in the news. Nothing that's moving. Nothing that's going to make me invest in it. This was interesting. I followed the Chinese EV names as well. Xpeng's one of them. Li Automotive is another. NIO. And I like NIO the best of all of them. But yeah, 24/7, basically making their EVs cheaper than Tesla. Could be attractive. Again, Tesla has a pretty big sales component in China. So that's what they're competing with, is over there, not over here in the US. But yeah, so you start messing with Tesla's Chinese numbers, and that's going to, I think, hit the stock as well. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we are in the market again. This is the basically a 9-month look in the SPY. When you start getting in here, really we went back to where we were a week ago. Excuse me. And if we would have another % or two down, even a 5% move down here, we're going back to where we were a month ago. So that's ugly. Nobody likes it. Obviously, when your portfolio gets hit to the tune of like 5%, but realistically, we're going back to where we were just a couple months ago. You could, 40, 431, 10%, it would take us down to 391. Even if we had a 10% sell off here, we're going back to, March, end of March Madness, right? So that's how much this market has moved higher and how quickly it's done it. So again, these little sell-offs happen. There's one back in here, pretty decent, gets everybody excited. But again, don't sweat it in the big picture. Do not change your strategy based on that. The second one I wanted to show you is VXX. And look how far this thing's been hit. When you look at a chart in the House of Pain, it was up at 100 back in November, and it's all the way down to 30 right now. We popped up a little bit on Friday, but again, just selling off hard. Realistically, what can happen? Well, during these sell-offs, like you saw the one I just, it's the inverse of the other chart. The other one went from, this is 88 up to 110 in that sell-off that we had back in November. March went from 67 to 85. So these things can move. Is my point. So anyhow, consider that long here if you think the market's going to continue selling off. All right, setting up for your trade. I do like the VXX long, so that's kind of the primary trade, and also I like the the Wish short. Give me a second to get set up for the market open. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day. We have 15 seconds to the market open. We had a great trade Friday, Fubo TV long. We'll try to get another great trade today. You have the SPY selling off pretty hard, so down almost 1% there, I think over 1%. We have VXX long and Wish short are our plays that we're on today. Here's the opening bell. All right, so we're taking a look at the VIX first, and then zooming in on, we'll zoom in on both, but again, looking VIX long, and we'll see what's going on in the overall market. So again, with the market selling off in that first minute, that's where you're going to see this pop in the VIX. So at a $32 price point, we're looking at a 30-cent stop. You could even loosen that to a 40-cent stop. We want to make sure it's below the low of the day before it goes higher. And again, it's already up at 6%. Over here in Wish, we're looking at a 10-cent stop, covering up 903, 890. Hello, check, check, check. All right, I should be back now. Enough, enough nonsense with this um, Wi-Fi at the hotel. I'll be using my phone tomorrow. Did I just get booted again? I don't think so. All right, rough morning. I'm on a 5 minute chart and I don't want to be. And so I'm trying to fix that. Looks like we're not going to get a trade because I'm too busy dorking around getting everything set up, which is kind of upsetting me. But neither of these trades look like they're working either way. So, all right, I'm going to have to correct this on my own time. All right, let's back out and look at the long term. So if you want to take the VIX here, you can. Again, going long, that means you think the market's going to sell off. And wish, again, use the 10-cent stop, cover that 903 of the day. You're going to have to wait for it to hit 893. I would actually wait for it to hit 892 and break south of that before you would actually enter. So actually use 891. So if it establishes a new low today, you can take it short. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the name, and you have to have a 12-cent stop now. So again, if it hits it here, we'll actually draw it up. If it hits 891, it did hit 891. So again, we'll go in with a 12-cent stop. You got to cover up to 903. It's a huge stop for this stock. 903. So again, 12 cents. The arrows to the downside. And 881 is the first R point, and then obviously the exit point is 24 cents below that. So anyhow, there's your trade if you're looking for one today. If you didn't catch that or don't want to take it, that's fine. I'm going to move on to another screen. All right. Here's where we're in the overall market. Hardly any names in the green today. TQLB, TMRC, spec names. Bonds are up. FIXD is a bond name. FMB is another big bond name that I use. Gold is up a little bit. So all the hedges, let's see how bad the pain is on the downside on individual names. AMC, that's not a shocker. American Outdoor is though. DIG, that's the price of oil. Luckin down almost 5%. Mineral, Delta Airlines selling off. So again, your reopening trades, your airlines, casinos, Win, I like, are selling off. Boeing, BABA, gosh, Mind Medicine, a lot of blood in the market today. So again, I think VXX long is where it is at. All right, let me try and get back to the trading screen. A little bit of a nightmare going on here this morning, not gonna lie. All right, back to the trade chart. Nope, this one busted out the top higher in Wish. So that's a broken trade, big red X of shame. However, you see the VIX is screaming higher.